I'm genuinely surprised that I'm not later than I am. I expected at least 15 minutes when I came back. I'm gonna have to step away in a second because I'm gonna have to grab my coffee once it goes through and actually does its thing. However, as for now, oh, I didn't. This doesn't need to be muted, this needs to be turned off. Up, pop. Did that work? Okay, that worked. Please don't tell me. You connected to the wrong fucking internet, you piece of shit. Ta-da! I didn't get as caught up as I wanted to, if I'm to be perfectly honest. I am going to turn my AC on. But I didn't get caught up as much as I wanted to on the lawn, because it turns out that my yard is just full of mud pits. You knocked everything off the other day. I fucking hate you. There's going to be a little bit of sound of air. Let me put this on, though. I did get at least paths done that I need for, like, my morning stuff. Been taking care of the animals and whatnot. But I didn't get everything caught up. Like I'd hoped to. Because I know that the area that I was in was not an area that I even acknowledged as a mud pit. But I got bogged down in it, and I know that there's several other mud pits that are around. And I was like, there's no way in hell that I'm going to be able to actually get myself out another time, so I cleared a little bit extra and then I freaking packed it away. Maybe I get lucky. And tomorrow, it doesn't actually rain. But tomorrow's got a high chance of rain. And if it rains, then I'm not even going to be able to give a second pass over all the stuff that I did today. which was the primary thing that I was hoping to get done tomorrow. But we'll see how that plays. Wait, what? What? Let me go grab my coffee. I don't know if we'll do much like actual game tonight, to be honest. But between the hour that it already is and me kind of being on like a little bit of wind down for Hey Preacher, how you doing? But I'm on a bit of wind down from Marathon. My brain's already exited Marathon mode. I'm already looking forward to my break day tomorrow for the first time in 3 months. Let me bookmark this real quick. That way I can get to it quickly later. But we're already on our way to midnight, so I might shift myself to be labeled as just chatting rather than Toho. No. I don't really keep up with gaming news. Especially for, like, GTA 6 has reached that point, like, Elder Scrolls 6, where my line has snapped a bit as far as how much I'm being led along with it. What was even leaked? That's it? I see. I'm not surprised. Like, 80% of leaks at this point are, like, intentional drip feeds. Looks good as in visually, or looks good as in... like, there's actually some meat of interest. I see. Some people have a few more days. The people that either have one of the new gen consoles or are planning on buying it specifically for the game. Oh, you meant the trailer thing. I forgot that they're for some reason Netflix exclusiving the... Netflix exclusiving a trailer? I mean, I get that a lot of people have Netflix, so it's not like people are buying Netflix exclusively for... At least I hope. I'd like to hope that no one is... getting a Netflix subscription just to look at a GTA 6 trailer. I pray. I pray and I plead that my faith in humanity does not lose another peg. Hello? Would you like to play music? Thank you. If it's gameplay from an official thing, it's still a trailer. Back in my day, we just called those gameplay trailers if they had gameplay in them. My day being, like, a decade ago at max. Depending on what visual style they're going for, I am a little worried, though. There's just this kind of thing going on as of recent, it feels like, where a lot of things are becoming very homogenized. Because at a certain point, visually, if you wind up going for, like, more photorealism, it becomes hard to have an art style with it once you reach a certain point. Yeah. And God forbid if they freaking pull out UE fucking, what is it, 6 now? Well, what's the one that's tacked on to freaking Halo and Oblivion for their remasters? Five. They're still on the road to 6. We're at 5.8 currently. I hope that freaking Rockstar has kept their in-house engine. It's not broken like freaking Gamebryo is, but so they should be fine. Halo is literally just UE at this point. Oblivion's remaster is Gamebryo with UE stapled on top of it for the visuals. Which is both good and bad. It means that it's faithful to the original. But it also means that it's faithful to the original because Gamebryo was outdated when Bethesda started using it all the way back in Morrowind. No matter how much that one dude from when I was doing Fallout 4 wants to say, oh, but it's the creation engine now. It's Gamebryo. You stapling on a port for them to shove their mods into does not make it a new engine. I also miss old Halo. I didn't hate like the multiplayer in Infinite too much. I didn't get very far in the story because both of us were having issues with... Both me and Tubber were having issues with performance. But... I mean... What the fuck even is Campaign Evolved? There's no multiplayer, there's no Forge, there's no theater, there's no... X, Y, and Z. They quadrupled the number of skulls. And put 2 very disappointing, apparently, story expansions in there. Which, I've heard some of the audio lines from it, and I'm pretty sure that like half of Johnson's lines are AI generated. I mean, for fuck's sake, Inferno on the budget of a chicken sandwich and a few expired mints was still able to afford a voice actor to do all of Johnson's lines for Cursed Halo. And they sound good. I don't even think it'd be as noticeable if, like, the new voice lines weren't one of the first things that Halo Studios 343 and a top hat. I mean, we've seen what happened to Bungie post Halo. I don't know if they would have exactly saved it. As much as I love Bungie era, there's so many ins and outs of people coming in and going out over the years that enough's changed that I don't know. I mean, they freaking had Marathon beforehand, and when they brought Marathon back, look what happened. They had a esoteric, heavily story-driven shooter, and decided, let's make it an extraction shooter. With, like, no story to it. Surely that'll keep the same fans that we had back when we originally did Marathon, right? But, yeah, I don't know. It kind of depends on... I mean, it's not something I have to concern myself with for a long time. When it comes to GTA 6. Like, it'll take a year for it to come to PC, at the very least. And then... even from there, I'll either have to get it gifted to me or wait for it to go on sale. So it's not something I have to concern myself with for quite some time. But it depends on how it, like, looks and plays and whatnot, because... I don't know. If I get another, like... washed out lighting, hyper-realism, sandbox game. I gotta be honest, I don't care. Like, I don't know if they've changed a lot with it, is the thing. The problem is that even as little distance back is Red Dead 2, which, when was that, actually? It's been a bit, but 2018? Like, it was realism, but it still had, like, color and artistic bits added to them, rather than it just being, you know, me looking at reality with, me looking at reality through a shitty camera, I guess, is the best way to describe the look that a lot of hyper-realism games want to do. They all want to freaking take inspiration from, like, the way that body cams look. But 90% of cameras that they're using as their reference points don't have the range of color that is needed. So they're working off of a muted reference point, so they wind up muting it even further. I don't know. Maybe I sound ancient freaking talking about, like, the focus on looks and whatnot for a lot of this stuff, but I just want some flavor, dude. Like, you can tell me, oh, but the gameplay's fun, and it's like, you're allowed to enjoy it. The problem is that you're trying to sell it to me in these cases. If you're trying to sell it to me and it looks flavorless, sure, it might be fun, but I can play other games that are fun. I could play Halo. I can play GTA 5. I could play GTA San Andreas. I could play fucking... Red Dead 2. I could play Helldivers 2. I could play Left 4 Dead. I could play Arma if I really want things to be, like, mechanically realistic. I think it matters to quite a few people. The thing is that some people... Like, everyone has their own priorities. The problem is that... As someone who streams, I have people that come in and ask this stuff. Like, through every single GTA, I kept getting, why are you not playing GTA Online? Except for GTA 5. Apparently I didn't have anyone that came in for that. Favorite of all time? That's a difficult one. Because it also depends on, like, genre, even. Perfect game I could definitely not give to anything. Maybe Misty's Izakaya is the only game I could think of that's probably perfect. At least as far as, like, its genre. Obviously, if I'm in the mood for a shooter, Misty's Izakaya ain't gonna scratch that itch. Also, my freaking phone is already overheating. Holy shit. Favorite of all time is very difficult. I have biases for certain games. Resident Evil 4, I love to death. Any of the Yakuza games, really high up there. They might be close to perfect if you go for, like, the ones that are up to date. Aside from apparently the 3 remake was dog ass. I don't know, I have base 3 rather than the remake of it, so I don't have to worry. Fallout New Vegas obviously takes a very high spot. Because I played it at a friend's house, and then I got it shortly after, when around the same time that my mother had her car accident that left her crippled the remainder of her life. And it got me through that rough spot in my life, so I don't think it's perfect by any means, but it's definitely up there as far as, like, favorite games of all time. Battlefront 2 is also really high up there. The original. There's a reason why I go back to it regularly. As well as Empire at War. KOTOR 2's in a similar spot as New Vegas. I love it to death, but it has the Obsidian problem. We got handed it by the original studio to make a sequel to the game that they made. And then we got told after a month of work, hey, you've only got like 6 months to do this. Fuck you. And then they had to cut a bunch of stuff that they intended to put in. I've never actually played Last of Us. I watched someone play it way back when, and my sister loves the first game. I enjoyed the story of the first game. Unfortunately, it was tainted by the second game, and like, a lot of people that want to just freaking stroke off what's-his-face for the second game just to be contrarians to people that didn't like how this... apparently, according to some people that are better writers than me, the primary problem with the second game is that the order that it gives it to you is ass. Because they do the thing of, let's freaking... How do I put this? It's like if, it's like if we started with Halo 5. And Cortana being a total shitheel. Went through all of Halo Infinite afterward. And then went back to the original trilogy. We don't give a fuck about Cortana if we don't have the original trilogy in there. We just know that she's an asshole by the end of it. And then they decide to give us a bunch of other faff before we actually get a context for why anything happened. What is my big game that there is no sequel of? There was one game that I was talking to some people about that I made the same joke on. Far Cry 3 is really good. I wouldn't say that it's one of my favorites. But it is good. I didn't care much for Far Cry 4. I didn't care about either of the mission givers, so I didn't care. I don't think I've played Zone of the Enders. Let me take a look here. I feel like I've heard of it, though. Zone of the Enders. I haven't played this, but I have heard of it. A mixed Konami game? What the hell? Then again, freaking Metal Gear Solid, what is it, Beta or Alpha or whatever the fuck the remake of Snake Eater was called, apparently was kind of ass when it first came out. I don't know if they fixed it, but it was ass when it... It's been very positive now, so I guess they fixed the primary problems with it. I remember it was at like a 50 or lower when it first came out. It's currently at a 60, or not, a 76. Overall, it's at 82. Recent scores are... $76, so that's not bad compared to where it was. Hey Sauceman, how you doing tonight? I really don't remember what that game was, though, that we were talking about a bit back, that someone brought up the sequel to it, and I'm like, it doesn't exist, I don't know what you're talking about. I know it wasn't Deponia, though Deponia definitely has that problem of they made a fourth game specifically because they got mean comments on the internet about the ending of the third. And as a result, them just bitching at the player the whole time ruins the game. Ooh, have you posted the art piece yet? I do check from time to time on different people's art stuffs. From my reference folders. I'm not doing too bad, I suppose. I did set up the stuff for my surprise mortgage payment to get paid off this morning. I got some of the lawn caught up after we've been in monsoon shit for like the past month. Unfortunately, the remainder of it is so bogged down. I don't know. Let me take a look. I follow so many artists that sometimes name alone is a bit difficult for me to keep up with. That's a lot of Soul Eater art. Assuming I'm on the right person. Oh, that's right, I forgot that Twitter starts off with videos now. I don't know why they changed the way the media tab works, again. And for the worse. Every time it's for the worse. I don't know how we do this regularly. I wouldn't even be so mad if it freaking started off with photos instead of videos. Sure, separate them because it was broken before, but how expensive we talking? I know that some like big names can definitely get really high up there. I know that pretty much everyone on my wish list is chunky. Oh, we're talking like if you have to ask, you can't afford it kinds of expensive. Like, pricey. I'm actually not even entirely sure if some of the people on my wish list even do commissions anymore. Just because of how much other stuff that they have going on at any given time. That is very spicy. I'm assuming it's full body at the very least? Question mark? And depending on if it... you said it's not safe for work, so maybe 2 people? Maybe? So maybe it's like more reasonable, but I don't know how much should that... God damn. I'm thinking that... one of the people that's on my wish list no longer does commissions, which is a little unfortunate. Either that or they're just closed for the time being. I don't know. I can't say I blame them. Like I said, they make enough stuff, and they freaking have gotten big names to freaking do stuff for them. I gotcha. I need to play a little more catch up on cleaning up Twitter tabs. Why do I have 2 of this open? I apparently went to start freaking YouTube side of stream on one window and then opened it on a different window afterward. Fucking weird. Speaking of commissions, I need to work on the one character design commission after stream, but also tomorrow. Because after the freaking surprise mortgage payment comes out, I'm going to be in a little bit of a bind until I get that done. But it shouldn't be too difficult, so. And it's digitigrade, which is my speciality. Ish. Okay, that means that I don't have to figure out human feet too much from that angle. It will be kind of nice, though, to just have, days to wind down and to work on other stuff again. Without it being my electricity going out and then me being stuck freaking just thinking for however long. Ugh. I guess that there is a few games that do fit that description of, there is no sequel on that I have. It'll also be kind of nice to be able to get back to doing like art and whatnot on Blue Side. Which I tried to do, or I tried to like organize during marathon season, but it just never really worked out. Because by the time that I freaking finished up with stuff or what have you, I'd wind up being in a spot where I need to work on something else. And then I cycle back around and I freaking do the next day. It's part of why Sundays are my break days, is because Sundays line up the best for me to have as a break slash do outside stuff day. Wednesday kind of just got grandfathered in because of it was the other anime night day. I was going to change it after Mark got abducted by the government, and then I was going to change... Then I was going to change it... words. Then I was going to change it after anime night got shifted. And then I didn't. And now it just kind of works because it's like the most middle day I can get from my other break day, I guess. The other option would be Thursday, which is a 1 day difference. It doesn't matter. But then I'll play a little more catch up on all the stuff that I owe people over the time. What's oh no? Oh no, you said oh ho. I also that's not too bad. It's a really good piece. Oops, didn't want to freaking reopen that. I need to go in the other window to open the right thing. It'll also give me practice time again, but I want to get what I want to do is I want to focus on the 3D model. As far as like personal stuff. Because I need to get it done before I can start doing next season of VTuber Vault. Because I want to do 3D people for this next season, since it's season 3. So it seems fitting. Me lovey tedium in my games. Yummy, yummy. Give it the out. The hell is that? Wait a moment. Alright. Must be delusional. Yeah, I decided to look into freaking the quote-unquote leaks for GTA, since Preacher mentioned them. And apparently they're adding a fuel system to the game. And a need to do maintenance on your vehicles regularly. And I'm like, listen, it's fine when it's the horse. And I can carry a bunch of food with me in order to feed it. Because it makes sense for it to be a living creature. Me having to go out of my way to find a gas station or a freaking Vice City Customs every goddamn time that I've driven 7 miles is not what I want in my GTA. Where do we want to be? We'll be here. I guess I shouldn't have even put it as discount just chatting. I am just gonna probably wind up chatting the entire time. I love that during GTA 5, we saw that there was a little bit of extra stuff that you were going to have to do, like, for realism in the game. And we're like, oh, you're going to have to do all the stuff. We went and hyperbolized it, and we're like, oh, you're going to have to, down to the water temperature in your shower, you're going to have to refine that perfectly as a minigame. And now we are actually just getting more shit tacked on that nobody fucking asked for. Because the role players are just going to mod it in anyway when they decide to do their role plays on it. They don't need you to put it in by default. It just makes it annoying for all of us who are trying to play a GTA game like a GTA game. Not that I'm going to be playing, like I said, not that I'm going to be playing it until, like, well over a year after it comes out. It'll take a year for it to come to PC, and then it'll take minimum 6 months for it to go on a sale that I even start to consider buying the damn thing. Unless someone buys it for me by then. But it's, I mean, online's probably going to take another year in itself to freaking go live, so a single player game, I'm not going to freaking have someone that just buys it for me. Because normally the reason that friends wind up buying me stuff is because it's like, okay, we're going to play this together. Unless it's like my birthday or something. Because the primary reason that I have certain things like, because they've done it with every other game. It's at this point just tradition to give the finger to PC so that the people that want to get there on day one buy it for either Xbox or PlayStation, and then buy it again when it comes to PC for their preferred platform. Because they know people do that. They probably have a perfectly functional PC version from the start. In fact, that's probably the version that they're going to show off when they actually do the gameplay trailer thing in, I think Preacher said 2 days. The one that you have to have a Netflix subscription to view. Which, again, is another one of those things where, as much as I hope that no one is paying for a Netflix subscription specifically to watch a goddamn trailer, there's someone that is. And even one person doing that is just absurdity. Especially because, according to some people, apparently it's going to be on... I think Preacher outright said this. 6 hours later, it's going to be on YouTube anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. Rockstar goddamn knows that people are willing to do this shit. It's like Bethesda releasing Skyrim for the 17th time. They outright said to their faces, if you want to stop having it release again, stop fucking buying it. And what did people do? They just kept buying it. We know you'll buy it, so we're gonna make money off of it. We have to add like 3 things that we outsourced and call it a new edition. That's all it takes. And you idiots pay 60 more bucks for it. It's like 40 bucks or something when it releases, because they know that if they charge new game price for a game that is 15 years old, that game's going to be able to drive next year. That game could theoretically drive now. Depending on what state you're in. Sharma? What? I'm not familiar. Those are my tweezers. Black Desert has guns now? What the fuck? Shout out to me only having like 3 hours in that game, by the way. I have as many hours in the episodic Monkey Island episodes as I do in that MMO. Oh, I don't know who owns Microsoft currently. So I'll have to take your word on it being Sharma. That does bring up the question on if there is any, No, I haven't. I occasionally get, like, clickbait articles that show up when I open up the browser on my phone. About how, like, Microsoft is pissed about Fallout New Vegas and how people won't shut up about it. And that Microsoft is thinking about remastering Fallout New Vegas to make, or not Microsoft, but what has been going on with Bethesda? News. Yearly layoffs. On-screen keyboard. Some Fallout 4 stuff. I got nothing. Thank fucking God. I mean, I don't know how Outer Worlds was, but I did watch Tebber do a bit of what is it, Forsworn or whatever the fuck the game was called? Or is it Forsaken? No, what was that game called? Avowed! That was the game. Watching Tebber play through that game, my faith in Obsidian kinda cracked on that one. I think it would be kind of nice, though, to see, like, if the stuff that had to get removed from New Vegas was actually implemented for the remaster. That'd be nice. Having Fallout 3 where I can actually play it without having to jump between like 30 different mods. Like 30 different mod packs and figure out which mods actually help and which ones are hindering. Because Works on My Machine is the sticker that has to go on every mod pack. Tebber didn't get very far in Avowed. The primary thing that happened with that was they got about 20 minutes in before they had to turn off all dialogue audio because there wasn't a separate one for companion audio, and the companion did not know how to shut up and did not know how to let the actual, like, environment breathe. Environmental storytelling was dead with that game. And there were multiple instances where you were there was a spot where you actively were stealing evidence from a crime scene because it was loot. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're the Avowed, we can't do that. And it's like, why don't you just jerk them off in the street while you're at it, I guess? Player consequences for fucking around and finding out? Pff, never. I have no idea anything beyond just the writing slash NPCs not knowing how to shut the fuck up about Avowed, but that alone convinced me I don't want to bother. Not to mention, once you get to the point where the NPCs don't know how to shut up, you wind up with instances like... I mean, name a modern game. Even GTA 5 had that problem in a few spots where they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you haven't done this in 0.3 nanoseconds? Here, let me tell you how it works, how the puzzle works, what to do. Is the beacon on your map not big enough? I'm sorry, let me tell you and hold your hand. You're doing so great, sweetie. Here, have a candy and we'll get your favorite vibrating... I can't make that joke on Twitch, never mind. And then we'll all get around the campfire and sing Kumbaya while we talk about how great you are, player. Like, I can understand some things because... I mean, one of the effects of earlier discussion, where everyone wants to be photorealistic, is that what used to be really obvious, like handholds and whatnot, blend into the background so much that you have to put the yellow stuff there, otherwise you're bouncing against every single wall. Oh god, freaking... What is that? Freaking... Dragon Age... Whatever the fuck the new one is. And if you dare to make a single slip of the tongue, you now have to flog yourself publicly and apologize. I'm sorry, I wasn't exactly thinking about... I wasn't terribly concerned with how the demon felt as it was disemboweling me and I was trying my best to stab it in the throat with my sword. In the wise words of a particular reviewer, my bullets don't discriminate, they only penetrate. And that's how it should be. I don't need to freaking get 10 hours of backstory about Demon Number 7. Doom didn't need to tell me to my face everything about the Cyber Demon. It just had to tell me, hey, you see this? Now take that big fuck-off gun and kill it. I wouldn't even care that much if it didn't, like, go out of its way to take me out of the story in order to do it. I don't know, though. Some people care more about that than they do anything else, apparently. Like, you don't have to just freaking point at the character and say, look, they're you, in order to freaking... get free brownie points. Red Dead Redemption 2 had Charles. And sure, he was Native American. It's like, oh, whatever. But he was a good character. It wasn't just freaking pointing at someone like me and going, look, have your bloodline right here. Give us brownie points because Native American. They went, hey, here's a fucking character who has his own motivations and is a good character. And we gave him these traits so that when we get to this point in the storyline, there's a connection there. Because it fits. Yeah, but I'm just talking about the priorities that people have that lead to these things. Because that's what it seems like for, like, these terribly written things that just kind of put labels on things. Is that they're just... it's a bunch of suits going, hey... look, point at the screen and acknowledge that they have a similar identity to you. Point at the screen and give us brownie points. Look at how inclusive we are. Rather than going, here's a character that also happens to have these traits. Like Veronica from New Vegas. She's gay. But that's not her only character trait. It is a character trait that leads to her having connections to other characters that you meet later along, rather than it being her only defining trait. It's one of those things that I always have in the back of my head whenever people try and talk about certain characters. But I don't want to freaking wind up having people just flaming me constantly because of this. I don't want to be patronized. I don't need you to freaking hold my hand and say, it's okay, we have a character that has similar traits to you. We acknowledge you. I want sick-ass characters, and if they happen to also have traits that are similar to me, that's cool. I don't need them to be freaking... I don't need you to just arbitrarily put in a pansexual femboy weeb in order to point at me specifically. Especially when I'm playing a game that's set in medieval times. You can give me a character that is a character, rather than a checklist. Because when they're a checklist, they are non-characters, and then I just feel patronized, and then I freaking get pulled out of the game no matter how good the gameplay is, no matter how engaged I am with the world. If nothing makes sense, as far as how characters behave, I'm pulled out. That was one of my problems with freaking Citizen Sleeper. Back when I freaking was redeemed to play that. And the person was pissed at me because they bought me the game because they wanted me to play it. And then I shat on the game because nothing made sense. And then there was no actual penalties for failing a thing. My character got shot. And I got told, it's okay, you can just spend skill points later to get yourself unshot. You're just going to take a penalty to your rolls, which your rolls are already dog shit anyway, for like 2 cycles until you get through enough of a portion of a story that we give you more character points. It's okay, sweetie. And they don't tell you which stories actually matter. Like, I got told, hey, I'm an ex-mercenary. I'm after this guy. I've got a ship. Go through the entire storyline, the person gets depressed, and I walk away because, I'm sorry, they're a little sad. I'm being hunted, and I need to get off station. This person is an ex-mercenary and has a ship. Let me not even ask, hey, can I have a little bit of guarding from this guy? Can I get on your ship and we can just fuck off out of here? No, I'm not allowed to do either of those until the next story beat after I complete more of the story. Because I looked it up afterward, and yes, 4 story beats later, I am allowed to actually ask to go off station with them. My character doesn't behave like a normal person at all. What I'm supposed to do is get freaking punched in the dick for the 7th time by the person that's literally using me and has gotten me wanted by 3 different factions in order to take the chip out of my head so that I can leisurely jerk off once a day in order to slowly fill up a cup enough in order to hand it off to the person that wants to clone me in order to have a decoy so that I can get this slice of cheese from the chef in order to finally deliver the right thing to the right person in order to actually get off station. Alternatively, I can get shot in the ass, get told you did bad, but we're going to pat you on the back and say you didn't do bad enough to fail, actually, against the hyper-lethal assassin that we've been threatening you about the entire game. The next day I get on a ship, get guilt-tripped because I didn't give it to a dude and his daughter, because I just want to finish the fucking game. And then get told that I actually went into hibernation because I was worthless after only a week because I didn't have my drugs. I mean, if we actually are going to Hammerfell for Elder Scrolls 6, we'll probably have a not-so-subtle discussion about every Middle Eastern country. With how modern writing is. We won't have our allegories anymore. We will just say... Man, it's really weird. It would really be a bad thing if some other dimension they actually decided to wage a war here as the Imperial faction. And then we get handed a note by someone in the corner that says, you see, player, this is actually an allegory for things that are going on IRL at the time of writing of this game. It's like, my guy, I'm literally playing a game that is set somewhere other than current reality so that I don't have to think about current reality. I'm getting fucked on my taxes every goddamn month out here. I don't need to be told about how some person 7 steps up the rung made a decision that made someone else 5,000 miles away got fucked over for, and it got my tax dollars used on it. I already know that's happening. I don't need to be reminded of it while I'm trying to freaking fight orcs and trolls. It's almost like I'm playing an actual fantasy game. I don't even think I'd be as offended by it if, like, they had some sort of subtext to it. But we have gotten to the point where they're literally just writing it. And taking you out of it in order to just say it. I think that that's the most annoying part, is that, like... I mean, it's Twitter, so I expect nothing but the worst from it, but... Whenever people are talking about, like, keep politics out, they're like, oh, but Metal Gear has politics, and you like Metal Gear. It's like, yeah, because Metal Gear has its contextual politics. I don't need to be told what the Patriots represent in Metal Gear. I don't just get told, hey, did you know that the Patriots actually represent faction I don't like? In reality? But no, let's misconstrue what we're actually saying here. It's like this person I used to be friends with. Was watching another acquaintance do a game from a Next Fest, which was originally in, I think, Chinese. So obviously had to get translated over, and got a literal like Google translation rather than being like getting any localization, like actual localization, as in the job, rather than localization the act. Because those are two different things these days. And he was trying to be all smarmy about it. He's like, man, all those people on Twitter really want this, huh? And it's like, no, they don't want that. What most of the people that are complaining about it are saying is that they don't want to be playing a game or watching an anime that takes place in fictional fantasy Japan, and then hearing, oh, you're one of those Republicans, right? And it's like, I don't know which faction it is. Republican, Democrat, they're both the fucking same half the time, whatever. They're both fucking me over on my taxes. It doesn't matter to me. Give me my relatively close approximation. I don't even care if you're freaking trying to toss in slang words. Like, the anime we're currently watching for anime night takes place in, like, early high school, and it's, like, very modern. And there's been a few words that I'm like, that seems really out of place, but it's in a context that doesn't sound as weird without the context of those words have been freaking used in Y context elsewhere. It's like, okay, I can see, like, freaking freshmen in high school using that word. Is it a little jarring for a Japanese freshman to be using that word? Yeah. But it is at least fine. It's not freaking... We got into yapping about games and whatnot. How you doing, Hydro? You can give me, like, modern slang words in a modern high school setting. That's fine, as long as it's not breaking the flow or what have you. When a ancient dragon comes into modern reality, and I'm going to freaking pull up everyone's favorite instance of this. When a dragon has been in modern reality for all of 3 days, and then waxes poetic about the modern patriarchy, I'm taken out of it. An old reference, but an evergreen one, because they keep freaking doing it. And then they get mad when they can't bully companies into it, and then Hoyo's like, fuck you, if you don't want to work unless you get to freaking change our scripts, fuck you, we'll just replace you. If you're not going to work, you're going to get replaced. Because believe it or not, mafia-style tactics don't work when you're not freaking... when you don't have the power to actually enforce it. I could go for some drinks about now. Maybe I'll actually go and get one of those, those remaining cans in a moment. Assuming they haven't already been drank because Ray's off work tomorrow, so she might have decided to do a little bit of drinking herself. Yeah. It's... I mean, like people say. The worst part is that it's evergreen at this point, because it keeps happening. And there's been worse examples. People just don't freaking acknowledge the fact that they exist anymore. Because the anime... I'm kind of hungry. Sure. It's been a while since we've had that. I haven't eaten anything today, I figured out, after I freaking had my last cup of coffee. Because I realized that what I did was I woke up, had a cup of coffee, had some water so I was actually hydrated, and then went to mow the lawn. So that my stomach wouldn't go, I haven't had food. It would think that it had food because the caffeine in the coffee suppresses the hunger. I normally just fill a plate. I don't go by number, I go by... I go by how many can I fit on this plate. Fuck, air fryer? I don't know. I've never... the only thing I've used the air fryer for is fish. No? No. Fallout New Vegas Dust? It has been a bit since I played New Vegas, so maybe that's part of nostalgia season this year. Yeah, 2023 was when I did New Vegas last. Maybe that will work for... nostalgia season. Even though nostalgia season might wind up becoming a bit earlier this year because fucking Targo and fucking Scout making me want to goddamn go back to RuneScape. The only thing that's keeping me actually stable on not pulling the trigger on that is the fact that when I go back to it, I need to degroup my Iron Man. And I'm really just being fucking lazy. Holy shit, it's me and a potato chip. Yeah. Given Dust is very survival, I'll probably partially try and get through Stalker Gamma before I properly descend into that. Let me put that in my game stuff folder so I can remember it later. Where's my game stuff folder? Where's my game stuff folder? There it is. I went with ecologist this time because I had a whole opening video I was going to do for it, but I didn't get it finished in time in order to explain like how I got into the situation that I was in, and then do a storyline from that. But like I said, it didn't work. Maybe I will play Monolith sometime later down the line. I've never actually played Monolith in Anomaly or Gamma. I don't know how they play. Given I'm not entirely sure how you would do like the majority of the storyline, unless Monolith has their own unique storyline. Unless you are supposed to just use the disguise mechanic the entire time through, pretty much. I know that, like, at the beginning or something, you can just turn traitor. Oh, so Monolith works better if you're playing the war game mode. Because apparently, even when people say that their storyline continues by taking and holding land, they don't fucking do it. You fucking mercenary bastards. I killed 85 Monolith dudes in that fight. Walked out, turned in the mission, came back, and Monolith were right at the front door again. They didn't even have any dudes at the freaking checkpoint. Worthless. I've been gun running a lot recently. For my income. Because the most recent Gamma update seems to have fucked up the spawn pools for... I can't even say that they've nerfed it. They've fucked up the spawn pools for artifacts. I'll go dry for, like, a month worth of streams. And then I'll go into 3 different areas, and each of the spots that I'm just wandering by has 6, 7 plus artifacts just in one pile. Or scattered about. While I'm on my way to one of the anomalies that I normally use as a way to get artifacts. Not a single one of the actual electric anomalies gives me any of the ones that any of the artifacts that I'm after, because I'm trying to make the goddamn emerald. But I need one of the freaking electrical anomaly tree. Yeah, that's what everyone's been saying is the reason why the game just increasingly becomes masochistic is because Grok's French. So he just hates himself. I'm allowing that, by the way. I don't know why the auto mod decided that was mad. Or that was bad. I mean, the way that he changed Sin in the most recent update is a perfect example of that. He made it to where they are active in the map before they reveal themselves. They take over key points that used to be loner or literally any other factions locations. He buffed the renegades to where even early renegades have heavy gear. And he gave Sin force fields. Is the only way I know how to describe whatever they have going on. My bullets don't plunk off of them. They don't give any indicator that there's, like, armor or anything there. They're not carrying artifacts. Or at least they don't have them in their inventory when they die. They just have the effect that you get whenever you shoot into an anomaly. Into one of the thumper anomalies. Oh, have they? I didn't run into many Sin my first playthrough because I didn't get very far before my PC gave up. My first playthrough of game was actually when I found out that my old PC was on its last legs because it was the first ever Cascade failure. During, like, the 3rd stream of doing Gamma. And then shortly afterward, I was stuck in doing just chatting and point-and-click games for the entire time that I was raising money to get new PC set up. And I got it just in time, because 2 weeks after I got new PC set up, which also involved Frosty giving me double the RAM that I was originally trying to do. That was when RAM and GPU prices, and I think also storage prices went up due to all the data centers back ordering them. Because if I remember correctly, they didn't even buy them all up. Because the data centers that they're buying for don't exist yet. They have all of them on back order, which has them basically going like the stock market, where there is so much quote-unquote demand inside, just in the ether there, that the price skyrockets. I don't know, have prices evened out? I haven't been keeping track of it because I haven't really been in the market. I mean, obviously they probably haven't evened out, but like, have they improved any? I know that when it comes to like the newest generation of NVIDIA, they still are melting through the power cables. And people thought that I was crazy and didn't know what I was talking about when I heard him say that the newest generation of NVIDIA cards was designed by an AI. And they're like, no, he just means that it uses more advanced AI in the GPU. I'm like, that's not what he said. And they're like, you're crazy, he didn't say that. And then, lo and behold, the 5090, I think is what it is, melts through cables, literally lights on fire, explodes, because it's designed by something that got told, here's what we have done so far, here's what we want you to do. And then it's like, yep, you can definitely do that because it was programmed to be a yes man. $500 big bones, that's a lot of prayer XP. Depending on how you use them. One of the things I want to try and do tomorrow is get my new SSD set up. Yeah, okay, so it hasn't really improved all that much. My 64 gigabytes of RAM was like $80. A bit of a gap there. But right before my power went out, someone bought the SSD that was on my throne, and It arrived while my power was out. So what I want to do is, since tomorrow is a break day, I want to get the important stuff moved over, like everything that's on my current SSD moved over, and then swap out SSDs, obviously. Because then I'll have a terabyte on it, and then I won't have to worry about constantly seeing it in the red. Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. 1K for a freaking... for 64 gigabytes is fucking nuts, dude. I'd say I don't know who actually has the money for that kind of shit, but the answer is nobody. That's why everyone's getting pre-builts if they freaking are in the market for a new PC and it's dire. Like Bubble. Which, God forbid, if she gets like you got, where freaking... also gets the Temu RAM sticks. Then she's gonna be fucked again. Unless her current RAM is compatible and isn't part of the cursed part of the build. But she was supposed to have her new PC back in, like, December, and then got a surprise medical bill. I forget which one of them needed, her or Rock, which one of them needed to go to the hospital, but... that led to a surprise medical bill that a lot of the original fund went to. And she was actually supposed to have her PC this past week, I thought. I don't know. The updates on that change with the winds, it feels like. I also still need to test to see if my new controller works. That way I know if it needs to be freaking traded back out or not. It originally arrived before... Or not before. It originally arrived while the power was still out, so I didn't actually get a chance to test it out that day because power came back, I think, partway through the day, and then I think I was playing catch-up on GTA 5 as a result of that. Because I know I didn't get to do GTA 5 on Wednesday. Because my power was out. Tuesday would have been Tuhu's. Which is, in 3 years, still only my 3rd time of missing a Tuhu Tuesday. Not half bad. I'm gonna hit the bathroom real quick. I have returned it. I have food. And I have this. I got to yapping a little bit. I was like, because Ray was asking if I was going to get to 2s, and I'm like, nah. I decided that before even 11 hit. I just decided to fucking chill tonight. Now that I'm out of marathon season. And with how late I got to going today because of, trying to get the lawn cut up. Before I was bogged down in the goddamn mud. Because my side of the property is just covered in mud pits. Hey! You do not clot that. Because the area originally got stuck in, to the best of my knowledge, was not a mud pit. So I know that there's A, mud pits I don't know about now, and B, there are mud pits that I definitely know about. So I said, fuck it. Ideally, I only have to do a little bit of mop up as far as stuff that didn't get fully done today. Because playing catch up, half the shit lies on the ground. And at that point, the blades don't hit. I also kind of need to go over it with the next step down anyway. Because we were on catch-up step, so... But I got the 2 things that I really wanted to get done today, so... So that means that I'm good in one department for like a month. And then, well, the other department's a crapshoot. We already established that. That shit don't last anyway. But, I mean, with the... What, we're mid-August. So we should be on the downtrend soonish. Weather-wise. Like, temperature-wise. So maybe I'll get some mercy there. Wow, it's really weird that actually having food makes me feel better. Fucking wild. I don't actually know how long I'll wind up going tonight, though. I wasn't even expecting to go until 1 o'clock, to be honest. I just got yapping. Give me one moment. Let me... Ow. I don't know if I'll do... like a game-a-thon? Like I did with, Light by the end of the year. Because the original idea was to do that. I was gonna have, not exactly one a month, but I was gonna have more than one. And then didn't. Because everything got busy. Let me... There we go. I was searching for something real quick. I actually need to figure out what, like, active game we're gonna do next. I do have a game that I'll... probably play Thursday? Because it seems neat. I don't even have to think about Sunday anymore. I was gonna say, what will I do Sunday after I get back, but... Sunday's a break day. If I stream, it goes to blue. In which case, I'd either do art or do Jormungandr, I think is what it's called. Jormungandr. Which is apparently, according to reviews, not being received so well. Apparently they've improved it, so I'm not gonna freaking... It doesn't really have any recent reviews, it looks like. Most of these are from July. So, like, the earliest one is over a month ago. Apparently on July 17th they had an update that actually fixed some things, like some of the major things. But assuming that and this is gay, they gave me a press kit for this, so I'm assuming that I'm fine. Well, they don't say that there's an embargo on it, so... Normally they lead off with that. I did double check, though, just to make sure. But I do kind of need to find another, like, main day game, I guess is the best way to put it. Rather than it being all off to the side, like Stalkers on Saturdays, right? It's very much set in its spot. As opposed to GTA, which was all the other days. I might do go something controller oriented though. I don't want to go into Dino Crisis right off the bat. Because Dino Crisis is one of those things that I want to be able to play through like all at once. Or not all at once, but like maybe we do all at once. Maybe that'll be our like game-a-thon game sometime later in the year. But you know, I want to play through it rather than, if the controller doesn't work, having to find something else. Until the controller does work. But for now, I just want to be able to relax and enjoy my now being in break time. Which after I end stream today, I'll probably do a bit of editing to catch up on things. It's not even catch up. I'm not behind on editing. Like, if we go by the merit of I've actually recorded ahead of time, I'm actually ahead of time on my editing. I do need to go through and do clipping for the past few days. Honestly, past couple weeks, if we're to be honest. And tomorrow I'll be freaking working on a commission. Which, depending on how far I get in the commission, I might also do that commission on Thursday and Friday. Which I'm looking forward to Friday. It's been a hot minute since I've been able to chill and freaking bully Archie. I mean, I only really bullied him that first day. When we were doing V2 Revolt, I didn't really bully him as much. But I also, to a certain degree, try to be, like, exceptionally nice to my guests during VTuber Vault. I guess is the best way to put it. Because I know that some people watch the VTuber Vaults with no context otherwise. Just due to the nature of how they are. So I don't want them to just think that I just, like, bully and harass my guests. Especially considering, you know, I especially have to temper myself a little bit because everyone that I've interviewed so far has been, to some degree, friends Like, some are definitely closer than others. Some that I had only talked to vocally. There. I talked in DMs with some of them prior. I talked in the chats, obviously, to all of them prior. But I think it was about a 50-50 split this past time. Let me take a look. I don't know why I freaking switched over to that. Let's see here. Lumi, Gaz, Archie, and Ray. Oh, no. I guess there's a higher ratio of people that I'd talk to directly. I haven't, like, collabed with Rhea. But, like, we've done D&D, so we've, like, yapped back and forth vocally before. Actually, it was because we didn't have a D&D one day that I took the opportunity to ask Rhea if she wanted to be on for the first episode of this past VTuber Vault. Archie, obviously, I've collabed with before. Bubble, I had only yapped in her chat, and I think that even... I mean, I've talked in her Discord, but I think that even DMs-wise, I hadn't talked to her until I invited her on. Sin and Liz, I had only talked in DMs a little bit with beforehand. Gaz, I've yapped with a lot, and I mean, technically we've collabed. We were in Rolling Horizons together, but we don't talk about that. Not very much, anyway. Lumi, I had actually had a collab with. We're in October. Actually, I can figure out, because it was the day that I finished Conscript, I'm pretty sure. And I had a very particular feeling about the end of Conscript. The game overall was good, but the, like, attempt at a Jacob's Ladder ending was not. Yeah, October 30th. Because we did Lethal Company that morning, and I had done my time zone stuff in reverse of what it was. So we were starting later than I thought. So what happened was, instead of going off, taking a nap, and coming back for Conscript, what I did is I just bowled through. I ended my collab with Lumi where we were doing Lethal Company. And then I went straight into Conscript. I should see about... The problem with collabing with Lumi is that we have, like, opposite schedules. It's why I can't catch many of her streams. Because she has this debuff called having a normal schedule. Rather than my whack ass who's here at 1 a.m. drinking and talking about projects. But she streams, like, according to her schedule here, noon to 4. Yeah, about noon to about 3. Depending on day. I'm asleep this entire time. I don't wake up until, like... I mean, my alarm technically wakes me up at 4. What I actually wake up at is 5:30. And sometimes later. Because I'm stupid. And she's smart. I mean, we just have different schedules, is all it is. It's sort of like Erin is another one. I'm good friends with her, but especially with how close I wake up to starting time, I haven't been able to catch many of her streams recently. Because I could pop in for maybe like 10 seconds, say hi, how's it going, how's the game? And then I have to go and freaking get started. And it feels weird when I do that. I want to at least stay around for like a half hour or something when I'm actually engaging with someone. Especially with friends. I meant to be part of Lumi's Alzheimer's fundraiser thing a few months ago. But unfortunately, freaking life decided that I was not allowed to keep my commitments. I mean, I guess it wasn't like a commitment, but like... You know, I'm a little sad that I didn't get to actually join in on that. I mean, part of it was also I was having money troubles too, so I didn't want to freaking have people have to decide between the fundraiser or supporting me during it. Hopefully next year things are more stable and people aren't getting injured and I can afford the cat meds prior and X, Y, and Z. So I don't wind up with that kind of problem where I just wind up having people having to debate if they want to freaking support the important event or support me, who admittedly does actually need the help in that case. Because admittedly I did, I suppose. But that's just how it kind of be, is I don't want to take away from something that I identify as more important. But who knows? I am kind of looking forward to... I've mentioned this a few different times, but I'm looking forward to having a break day. Streaming is definitely one of those things where no matter how much you love it, like, you do occasionally need a little break. At least in my case. It does take a bit of mental stuff and a bit of mental power. I'm not gonna freaking go and be like, oh, fucking, oh, boy. Streaming, that thing, oh, not for the faint of heart. But, you know, it's, it's not exactly plug and play. It's not exactly plug, play, and then freaking skyrocket, I guess is the best way to put it. I mentioned that in the short the other day, is it's a little bit. It's got its own, like, flavor of difficulties. Gotta get my good old rejuvenation going on, then I freaking get my schedule back on track, and then we're gold. Sundays and Wednesdays I can work on art, either off stream or on Blue Site, and then or maybe if I really feel like it, I could stream on here. I am taking tomorrow off regardless, though. We're out of... I do need a dividing point that just lets my brain be like, I don't have to. And depending on if my brain actually gets that into its thick skull, Sunday might also just be awful, and it's simply for the fact that I need my brain to accept that we can have a break. We can relax. We don't have to worry about it. We can chill. Oh. I think I also needed today for that kind of thing as well. As much as I think that Toho Crawl is a relatively calm game, I think I did just need to kind of chill and yap. As like as a proper wind down. Like, it's still a stream, but it's not a stream where I'm forced to do anything in particular. If I had felt like I wanted to do Toe Crawl during it, I could have, but I in the end wound up not. But I do like the marathon season. Even if it is, like, a bit mentally taxing. Just due to going every single day. It's not even, like, intensive or anything. It's just a nature of... if you don't have rebound time, then you freaking tick away at it a bit more. When did I finish Skyrim? Elder Scrolls lasted all the way till September. I mean, I guess that's only next month, but like the Elder Scrolls marathon lasted a month longer. I don't even know if it was a month longer. Yeah, about a month longer, because it's Dragon Slayer. I played it a little bit afterward to deal with, like, the companion stuff that I was doing, and a little bit of Legacy of the Dragonborn. Which maybe I'll do, Legacy of the Dragonborn oriented playthrough one of these days. Because the original purpose was just to get it... end the meme, as it were. So the people didn't have to meme about, ah ha ha ha, Nasu's never finished Skyrim. Peam game. That's Peam. P-E-A-M captions. Peam game. But yeah. The meme went for a long time, so I decided to go through every main line. I mean, there's the two others on Steam, but they're not free. But there's also more of those. I guess it's not more of those, but all of them are open world rather than... I guess GTA is also all open world. All of them are longer. Because GTA 5 compared to Skyrim does not count because GTA 5... How many hours? 39 hours to get through GTA 5. Because past 2 weeks. I think I downloaded Special Edition of Skyrim specifically for marathoning because I didn't want my mods breaking into it because I knew that there was one mod that broke everything. Oblivion also took longer. I mean, part of it's because DLCs. Well, GTA 4 plus the episodes from Liberty City only took 55 hours rather than 71 hours. Morrowind took 55 hours. San Andreas took 44 hours, so I guess that it's not like that far off. San Andreas is by far the longest GTA, though. Mission-wise. It's got like 100 missions to it. Depending on what people count as missions. Vice City was only 24 hours. I think we did that in... The problem with that was that I freaking... spent like the first 5 hours of that doing... paramedic, trying to get it done. GTA 3 was only 17 hours. There's also fewer games of that, because we have what? If we count games rather than games plus the DLC as individual things, we have what? 3... Vice City, San Andreas, 4 and 5. And then we have 1 through 5. Oh, well, no, I guess they even out. They're about equal in number, it's just that Elder Scrolls is notably longer, and sometimes to the detriment, if I'm to be honest. Morrowind, I think, was a good length of time. The DLCs can go fuck themselves, but the game itself was a good length of time. Oblivion didn't really overstay its welcome. Even Skyrim didn't really overstay its welcome with Legacy of the Dragonborn involved. I freaking cheesed it to where I could just skip the combat of it. But I don't think it was bad. Daggerfall did kinda start to grade a bit. Namely due to just how the dungeons worked. Arena's just old. I don't even think that Arena's, like, bad in a vacuum. It's just old. I don't know how long Arena was. $28 hours. I don't know what I'll do for next year's. Last year's was kind of an accidental one. And kind of turned it into a tradition. Because last year we went through all of Deponia. Maybe if I haven't yet gone through all of Yakuza, we do Yakuza. I forgot that I only have 9 minutes qualified in Abe's Odyssey because I downloaded the thing that patches it to be larger. But Yakuza could be a play. I don't think I want to do Neptunia for like a marathon season. Because Neptunia is a JRPG, so it'll definitely go a lot longer. Could do Tom Clancy stuff. Wolfenstein. If I do Wolfenstein, I have like some classic Wolfenstein. Maybe that's our... Maybe that's part of our nostalgia bender. I actually never really did much Wolfenstein, as a kid. I was a Doom kid. I did get asked earlier what my thoughts were on every GTA. Like the collection on the whole. And I've kind of given, like, in shorts, my full, like, thoughts on each of them. Or, like, not my full. But I liked all of them for the most part. 3 definitely showed its age in several spots. And I was not a fan of just the everyone shoots at you on sight as you progress the story. Especially because for some reason they decided the Mafia needs to be given shotguns after they turn hostile when they don't have shotguns when they're on your side, which pissed me off. Vice City was really good. The vibes were really good, the story was really good, and it gave me, like, more context of everything else going on, like, in every other story, pretty much. I got to see familiar faces before they became familiar faces. And I guess my only real problem is that the beach feels kind of empty with how much it takes up. And not being able to swim in a Florida game is fucking wild. San Andreas I already experienced with. San Andreas will always have a very good spot in my heart for being one of the first video games I played. Just in general. Obviously, there were certain missions I don't like, but I think that that's just going to be the way it is with all GTAs. All of them have missions that suck dick. It's just sometimes you're gonna have bad missions. I'm not a fan of getting my weapon stolen at the end of GTA 3. I don't think the mission itself sucked, but that portion of it sucked. Several missions wound up sucking because of the nature of the further you go into the game, the less area you can actually cover because everyone just becomes hostile. Because Claude's an asshole. That's not exactly meaning that he's a bad, like, character. He just has zero moral boundaries. Moral compass. He's just a dick. I mean, some of my favorite characters are dicks, so whatever. But I actually know how to skip most of the missions that I hated in GTA San Andreas. For the most part. Um... GTA 4, I don't think I had many problems with, really. I don't think there's even a mission that stands out as sucking dick. Off the top of my head. The only one that kind of comes close is trying to get away with the heroin, I guess. Because if you're not paying very close attention, you can just lose track of what's-his-face and fail the mission. Which it takes place at night, so... Fuck. But I don't think that there's any mission that really stands out as bad. And I didn't even have the problem that, like, the memes were about. Like I said, Act 1, I never got calls. And I got more pestered by chat than I did by the game to hang out with people. So it wasn't really a problem. Wasn't a fan of either of the episodes, really. GTA 4 goes too fast in its opening. Or not 4. Lost in the Damned goes too fast in its opening portion. Then it faffs about for a bit to get us all of our meeting points with the main story, and also giving us the guy that allows us to do the final mission. The killing of What's-His-Face off-screen was really weird. Because the only way that you know how he dies is if you look at the wiki. Because because he appears as some random fat white dude in base GTA 4. Where you kill him in one of the missions. Which I believe that the mission chronologically takes place before the mission where he gets taken in by what's-his-face, I guess? I don't know. I don't remember what that was, but that was kind of unfortunate. My biggest issue with that, Lost in the Damned, are the two things of what feels like it should have been the most important part of the thing was speedran in 3 missions at the beginning and then just put back on the end. I know that we had to have biker drama in order for us to have a reason for us to be the biker stuff. Otherwise, it would have just fallen into Gay Tony's problem, which I'll get to. But it really felt like it was an afterthought portion of the whole thing. Like, it's 3 missions at the beginning, and then it's tacked onto the end as, like, a big set piece. That's it. The rest of it was fine, I guess. I mean, like, the only other Johnny-specific character development is made worthless by his inclusion in GTA 5. His entire storyline is, like, aside from the biker stuff, his primary conflict is that he's trying to let go of What's-Her-Face because he doesn't want to deal with the meth. And then he decides to get with her, travel all the way across the nation, and then also, like, get hooked on the meth. Only to get killed. He did all that off screen only to get killed. So, it really makes Less Than the Damned feel even worse, to be honest. It also makes me like that segment of GTA 5 a little bit less, like that introductory bit, because it just feels like it's tossed in there. Um... But yeah. And then I've talked about Ballad of Gay Tony. It felt like I was doing nothing. I was being led by the nose. I had no personal stake in any of it. And the fact that I literally commit 3 acts of terrorism in 30 in-game minutes. And it's not mentioned at all in base GTA 4. I don't know. It really just felt like it was tacked on so that there was an end to Bulgarin, and honestly, they should have just let him go. He got given a half-assed reason that he was involved with Lewis. And he had more of a connection to Nico, and if they didn't kill him with Nico, they should have just left him. Or said he died, like, in some other way, like off-screen or something. He wasn't exactly a monumental pillar. He was more of a means to an end by Dimitri. So I didn't, like, I didn't like the Ballad of Gay Tony, really. It didn't feel like it was necessary. I didn't feel any need to be involved with any of it. And then GTA 5, I was fine with. It's not peak story writing, but I expected it a lot worse based off of how Canned Bread kept mentioning it. But it was fine. My only real gripe with it was if they were going to keep the wounding mechanic instead of just having people die, do the old wounding mechanic. I think that the majority of my deaths were due to people that I thought I killed just deciding I'm not actually dead, sitting up and then shooting me with a full burst of freaking assault rifle or SMG. Which just became frustrating. I think that's the only thing I really had to comment on it, though. Obviously, there was missions that I didn't like, and there was the scripting troubles, where they just decide, we want this to look like this, so fuck you. You can't do anything until we tell you to. Either way, it's 2 o'clock. I've gone for 3.5 hours. It's not too bad for considering today was a wind-down day anyway. I had a little bit to drink. I enjoyed myself. Got to yap. I think that I will hunt for someone to raid. Nemo's going. Have I raided Nemo recently? No. Let's raid into Nemo. I normally only raid into art from art, but let's go for it. No stream tomorrow. Key point. I'll be back Thursday, either with art or with a point-and-click game. It depends on how much progress I make on art tonight. No other real announcements. Friday's art's with Archie, so that's why tomorrow's art is a bit iffy. You know the rules, behave yourselves, don't worry, fool out of me, you're out of yourselves, otherwise we won't do any longer. There's the socials, you can join the Discord, follow me on Blue Sky, or follow me on Twitter in order to keep up to date on things such as when I go live, what I'm going live with, and art like you see in the corner, we will be working on, at least on Friday. But, for me, that's going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching, thank you for the follows, raids, all that good jazz, and I will see you guys on Thursday if all goes to plan. Been a while since I've set a different date than tomorrow. Love y'all. Bye.